I still can't believe it. I got to go where puzzle dreams are made. I got to go to the Ravensburger Puzzle Factory. That's my puzzle! Oh my gosh, there are so many puzzles here. You've already seen my videos about the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships, which happened in Spain last September. Well, after that, we flew from Spain to Germany to get a special tour of the Ravensburger Puzzle Factory in the small German town of Ravensburg. So just like with Worlds, this trip was sponsored by Ravensburger, and this video is also sponsored by them. But to be totally clear, this factory tour is a special thing that they arranged for our group. It's not something that's open to the public, but they let us film, so let me bring you inside.
Welcome to Ravensburger. So come with me.
When she said come with me, I was like, oh, that's like Willy Wonka. Come with me.
It's getting very official now. The height of puzzle fashion. All right, so the first step in manufacturing a puzzle is printing out the picture. And just look at these printers. They take up an entire room. That's the biggest printer I've ever seen. I'm not going to get into the details of offset printing, but basically they print each color individually, and they have these aluminum sheets for each color where you can see what's being printed.
If you promise not to touch anything, just to look, we'll walk up and walk down on the other side so you can really see what's happening.
Now, these machines are fast. This one is set to print 12,000 sheets an hour, which is over 3 sheets every second. Every 500 to 1,000 sheets, an employee will pull out one of the prints to inspect it. And so here you can see the finished print of the game pieces from the aluminum sheet that we saw earlier. They're printing on a special linen paper, which is made sustainably nearby with wood from the Black Forest. It's a heavy-duty paper that can really hold up to a lot of handling, like, you know, doing a puzzle multiple times. Also, I thought this was interesting. All of the paper and cardboard has to sit in the factory for a certain amount of time so that it can acclimate to the temperature and humidity. Now, something else that I thought was interesting is that they don't go straight from printing to cutting. So they keep tons of prints on hand for when they're ready to actually make them into puzzles. And that includes an image that might look familiar.
Ah, I knew.
Oh my gosh!
I knew. Somewhere it was
That's
hidden.
my puzzle!
This is Karen puzzle.
That's my puzzle!
Yeah, we can lift it
Surprise
up.
for you.
So, unfortunately, we didn't get to see a production run of one of my puzzles, but it was still so cool to see the printed sheets at the very beginning of the process. Like, even before they cut them apart, with 2 images printed on 1 sheet.
Happy that I could get you excited about it, that you understand how it's done. Laurent, you can help me?
Sure.
puzzle! My puzzle! So the next step is to glue the paper onto cardboard using these huge vats of glue. We actually didn't see a puzzle getting glued. We saw the backs of some game cards, but just look at all of this beautiful blue cardboard ready to go. So then after the gluing, you can just see stacks and stacks of puzzles getting ready to be cut. So the next step is the die cutting, but a lot of the machines and processes that they use are proprietary, so my group wasn't allowed to film that part, but I can show you some footage from a behind-the-scenes video that Ravensburger had released previously. The piece shapes are actually drawn by hand, then the dies are also created by hand out of steel, which is a specialized craft that takes a lot of skill and strength. On the backs of the new puzzle boxes, you can actually see one of the dies as well as one of the craftsmen who make them. Then that finished die is pressed down onto the cardboard with a force of almost 800 tons. Then another machine breaks apart the puzzle and seals it in a plastic bag. And this is where we can pick back up with my visit. So then the next step is to make the boxes. And this is also done entirely on site. And all of this production footage is so satisfying to watch. So once the boxes are made, the bags of pieces need to be put inside. And I thought it was so interesting that this step is still done by hand. After that, another machine places the box top. And then they add the stickers to seal up the box. They only recently switched to stickers instead of full shrink wrap, which I actually asked the team about, and they said that it took a lot of work to implement that in the factory. So now that the puzzles are finished, they need to be stacked onto pallets. And then those pallets need to be shrink wrapped.
Here we go. Okay, now this pallet moves to the left and is lifted up and will also go into this conveyor belt that we see here that goes underneath the ceiling.
But then I spotted something that looked familiar. Oh my god.
It's your puzzle.
Oh, sorry.
Is this yours?
Yeah, that's mine. That's my puzzle. There it is. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. And it says Karen Puzzles.
That's me.
Yep. 200 are on this palette.
Oh wow, this is so many puzzles. This was just in my living room. We took a picture and now it's here in Germany. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And we're just like surrounded by puzzles. Hundreds of thousands of pieces, probably millions of pieces right here. That's so cool. This is so cool. There's more, there's more. This is another 200 puzzles, another 200 there. So that's 600 Karen puzzles. This is so cool. Oh, and I've done this puzzle. And this is the one they just used at Worlds.
It's amazing.
But Karen is completely overwhelmed now.
Oh my gosh. You guys, it is so crazy that just because I started making puzzle videos on the internet, I was able to set this up in my apartment and then a year later see hundreds of copies of it in the Ravensburger factory. Literally, what is life? But we have to move on. So speaking of unbelievable things, take a look at this puzzle storage room. So many puzzles. They told us this room can hold 17,000 pallets. So let's say there's an average of 200 puzzles on each one. That's 3,400,000 puzzles. And if we say that those are 1,000-piece puzzles, that means that this room can hold 3,400,000,000 puzzle pieces. So after they dragged us away from the big storage room, we went to see the small storage room. This is where the puzzles are off the pallets and ready to be shipped out individually. So if a store is ordering some puzzles to restock their shelves, this is where they'll come from. And of course, once again, they showed me the Karen Puzzles puzzle.
Here are all different motifs already prepared to be sent off. You're so happy.
There are so many puzzles here. Any puzzle you could think of is like in this room right now. I've never been around so many puzzles in my life. It's like the catalog, the PDF, except in real life.
All right, let's go. We gotta go eat.
Oh, but I want to stay with the puzzles. I'll have my lunch right here. So that was it for the factory tour. Ravensburger was so generous in opening up Willy Wonka's puzzle factory to all of us to get to see how our favorite puzzles get made. Because when you sit down to solve a puzzle, you don't always think about all of the work that went into it, besides, I don't know, maybe the illustrator. But they have to print thousands of sheets, run and maintain all of these specialized machines, design the die cut, fill the boxes by hand, keep thousands and thousands of finished puzzles organized. There are so many steps to create a jigsaw puzzle from beginning to end, and I'm so impressed by this entire process. Honestly, I felt like I was living an episode of how it's made, and I was living my best life. But that wasn't all we did in Ravensburg. We also visited the archives and the museum. And of course, we had to do some puzzle races while we were there. So I'll be sharing all of that in my next video. In the meantime, let me know down in the comments if there was anything in the puzzle making process that was surprising to you, or if you spotted any puzzles that you've solved before. So thank you again to Ravensburger for organizing this trip, covering the travel and Valentina's filming, and sponsoring this video. So stay tuned, there's even more to come. I'll see you in the next one.